Hello, my awesome team. Happy Thursday. Sorry I'm a day late with this. I had a very sick kiddo and he needed all my attention yesterday. So I appreciate the extra time you've given me to get this out to you. It gave me a chance also to follow the department managers, Eileen and Charlie and Danielle Petrie, just to see all the great information that they gave, and they gave a lot. So I'm going to come back and kind of summarize, give you the headline, the big picture view of a lot of those things today. So it may be a little repetitive, but I want you to hang with me because we are doing a lot of big things, a lot of changes right now. But before we start, I have one really cool announcement. It's rare that the beginning of the month falls near my update, but this month and today, August 1st, I have our Employee of the Month. And really excited to announce that Danielle Welch is our Employee of the Month. She works so hard, y'all. You well know that because you praised her like crazy. She did so many incredible things in the month. I think the overview of all of her success was keeping the bathing department going during what's undoubtedly our busiest season. She did so much in the way of service over self this summer, from always stopping to help other team members, kind of working double capacity a lot of days. She served us so well during our tropical storm that we had, and making sure that team members could get here and that she was helping. She's always just a phone call away to give advice over how to better do things or walking newer team members through steps. I am just so incredibly proud of you, Danielle, and honored to say you're Employee of the Month. So incredible. Congratulations. We are very, very proud to have you on our team. The next thing that I'm really proud to share is that Charlie made a form for our website, and it's really, really simple for clients to be able to kind of pre-check, almost like you can in the airport when you're traveling through the airlines. You can check in ahead of time to save time when you arrive. So that's what this document does, is it takes our resort contract and puts it online so that clients can really simply check in and reduce the amount of time that they have to spend in the lobby. They can go ahead and list their pet's medications and their preferences. They can select kind of ancillary to boarding services they want, check off when they want their pet to have playtime and a bath and a snack, and all those things can be pre-done. They can also go ahead and sign their liability waiver online. That's all in that same document. So I just wanted to share that clients can do that, which means any and all team, not just our phone answering team, can advise clients who are coming in for boarding, hey, if you want to save time, just visit our website. Under the form section, you're going to find the ability to pre-check in for boarding. It's a cool little thing. So great job to Charlie for getting that going. Very, very proud. Another thing that she was able to get going that's going to be really helpful is our boarding email confirmations have been going out. We're buckling down on making sure that we get a more thorough capture of email addresses so that everyone gets these, but we included some disclaimers and some language from our boarding contract in our boarding email confirmation, so that people can understand what's going on with airborne diseases like kennel cough and so on ahead of their boarding. That way they can take action and they don't feel as bombarded with new information when they come to check in and can't really respond to it. So she did a great job of outlining that in an email. It's got a ton of awesome information, really better than ever, and that goes out to clients who are coming into boarding. It comes out to them before they have confirmed their boarding reservation. Another thing I'm really excited to see us introducing is a new role, kind of like a shift leader in the evenings for all departments. So it's almost like an on-the-floor shift leader. And I assigned this to Denise. Really, really proud of her for stepping up, and she's mastered a lot of areas within our practice, from the treatment room she used to assist Dawn with inventory. Now she's a level 2 nurse, as well as she actually started at the front desk. So I feel like she's really got a global understanding of how our practice works. And one of our weakest performance times is in the evening because there's so much stress put on the shifts, particularly the 4 to 11 and 3 to 9 shifts. We have awesome team working, but the dynamic is different than it is for the day, and we need to stop denying that. So I think having a shift leader during those peak times on the weekdays is really, really critical to make sure that everything is flowing and that all of our departments, doctors, nurses, treatment room, and our front desk are all really working cohesively, and that we have kind of a master of trades here to help to direct and smooth things out. She'll be able to direct things from flow to resolving concerns to creative solutions, helping clients who have concerns or need an I'm so sorry kind of conversation. She'll be able to take those things on. I wanted to mention this because I think everybody here has a real respect for our hierarchy, and that's really helpful in making sure that our culture stays positive. So I wanted everybody to understand that that's Denise's appointed role, is that she has the authority to direct the flow. In other words, she's not just trying to be bossy, she's looking out for the greater good of how patients and clients move through our practice, and as well as our team's commitment to making those things the best that they can be, and just some good old know-how. Denise is going to be your girl for that, so please respect her in that role, and I think that she'll help us to band together and do great things on these pretty stressful evenings. Okay, another thing that we have added this last week, actually just yesterday, was a treatment room nurse's phone. So they've long used the cell phone. I'm still working on some solutions for this because these cell phones that we have are awesome, and I love that clients can communicate to us with these or through these, but they're kind of cumbersome to manage, texting and so on. So I'm exploring some solutions that'll hopefully pan out. But we added this phone. It's a cordless phone, so just kind of like a little handheld device, and it can be used for incoming calls or call transfers directly to the treatment room nurse and hospitalist. So we're primarily going to use this for patient updates. So if a client calls, the call will likely be answered in the call center, and they would say, hey, I'm looking for an update on my pet who's in the hospital, and the call center can put them on hold, get a hold of the treatment room nurse by way of this phone. It's linked just like our desktop phones or our wall-mounted phones. It's just cordless, so they can keep it in their pocket, and it will give them direct access to the call so they can answer it from anywhere, and it keeps them from being corded to a desk if they need to walk around and give the update, or if they need to answer it while they're making their way to a computer or whatever. So that's kind of how that'll be managed. Going right from that concept, I wanted to make sure that everybody has a firm grasp on where we're going with this hospitalist role. This is a big role, and it's a different dynamic, but we've long had 2 treatment room nurses during the day and umpteen appointment nurses, and it seems like there's a lot of clash happening here. Some efforts are being double done while others are being missed, and things are falling through the cracks. So the hospitalist role is to have a charged treatment room nurse who can be responsible for all of the care of the patients who are hospitalized. Now, this is a big concept, and it's hard to just turn one way of doing things off and turn another on. So it's going to take us a little bit more time to evolve into that. But the direction of it is that they can give, like I mentioned with the new phone that they have, they can give updates on those patients directly because they know they've been providing that care. We're introducing SmartFlow next week. So they can manage a patient's care in the SmartFlow software. They can communicate directly with the doctor without having to get appointment room nurses who are burdened with the appointment flow involved in what needs to happen with a patient or in translating information. That's the big picture role. So they are responsible for that. On average, we have about 14 patients in the hospital at a given time. Now, some of these include surgery patients, and others are just pure hospitalized cases, but that's a lot. So while we're evolving their role and giving them a new software at the same time, you have to understand that putting more burden on them could be detrimental. And that's been the case since Fallon started taking over this. She's really realized how pulled these treatment room nurses are, and especially the hospitalist. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knows how to play, how to interact with this hospitalist and these treatment room nurses, who, by the way, there's only 2, sometimes only 1 per shift. So if you're pulling them out of their zone and asking them to do other things, meanwhile they're caring for 14 to sometimes up to 20 patients, you've made their job impossible. Be really, really careful. Understand what they're there for. They're not there to run out to the shed for you. They're not there to help carry something out to the car for a client. They've been saying yes because they're expected to be team players. But don't ask them to do something that you're capable of doing, or that you're capable of reprioritizing your own tasks to be able to do. Here's some examples of things that they've been pulled for just this week alone. They've been pulled from caring for a patient, interrupted in caring for a patient by appointment nurses to restock exam rooms. I'm gonna let you rest in that one just for a minute. To help with laundry that's backed up, to clean up surgery and wrap packs while we have a procedure team available, to discharge drop-offs, to start appointments, and to run blood work. These are things that there are other positions established in order to do. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that these are not in their jobs. They can help if you ask them, hey, are you available to? And I'm empowering them to say no if they're not available. So I just, in order to level the playing field, wanted to make sure that you all knew, although we're a team, everybody has a base position for a reason that they're responsible for maintaining, and that these boundaries are pretty helpful and preserving that and making sure that we've got the best people and that we're most efficient. Also, everything's still a team effort. So if you're not doing anything in your zone, please go and offer another zone to help. I'm mostly talking to nurses with this concept because this really happens naturally at the resort most of the time. And the call center team and the customer care team, they're pretty stationed at their areas for a reason, because you don't want to keep a client waiting and you don't want to abandon your zone. But appointment room nurses, treatment room nurses, procedure nurses, y'all got to work together a little bit better. When you do have downtime, offer to help one another. But respect boundaries. When you see that another person's busy, don't ask them for something else, especially when it comes to these treatment room nurses and hospitalists. Will never be able to evolve their role if their role is disturbed in these kind of ways, okay? As we start SmartFlow next Monday, August 5th, we will be able to really continue cleaning that up, and we'll have a new dynamic to share midweek next week on the update for the nurses on how that's going to work. Until then, let me say this. We've decided that when we launch SmartFlow on Monday, that we're going to hold the appointment nurses team responsible for when we have a drop-off or when you're admitting someone into the hospital for putting the patient into SmartFlow. Now, I have to mention this because customer care team, sometimes you have to cut the line of how this happens because a client drops a pet off and you have to go put a pet in a kennel because there's no available nurse. I want you to know that that pet you put in the kennel has to end up in SmartFlow in some kind of way. So even if you physically go secure the pet in a hospital kennel, you still need to find a nurse to put them into SmartFlow for you. We'll continue to clean this process up and open up people's availability to do these things. That's part of the grand scheme here. But until then, I didn't want anybody to get missed. Those patients have to end up in SmartFlow. So customer care team, you have to earmark that somehow. Otherwise, they're going to be missed and they're going to be forgotten, and it's going to cause a problem. So make sure that you understand that. The last thing that I wanted to repeat from Eileen's update for the resort is that the resort team is really trying to become the most efficient in the way that they move through admit exams. And Eileen's advice to her team this week was to make sure that we try and complete admin exams in the lobby with the client. I love this, and I want to endorse this all the way home. I think it's a really clean way to say that. And here's the why behind it. If you're in the lobby with a client who's dropping their pet off for boarding and you complete an admin exam, if you find something in the client's presence, you can go ahead and have an exchange with them at that moment. So you're better set up for resolution with them or for clarity, right? So if you're doing an admin exam and you see that there's fleas on that pet, you can go ahead and have a conversation and say, oh, hold on a second. Do you see these fleas also? And then talk about treatment. How clean is that? Or, hey, I noticed that she's kind of limping or favoring this side. Have you noticed that before? And if the client says, yeah, she kind of always does, or this is the situation, that's why she's on medication, great. Now we all know, and they acknowledge that to us. At the same time, if you flip open an ear and you see a really cruddy, gross looking ear, you can show the client, hey, look, do you see what I see? What should we do about that? And have that exchange there. And it all just really cleans up. So I love, love, love this idea. It's almost just like our nurses in the exam room with the client, how great that is versus when we have to take them as drop-offs. You just want to make sure that the client sees what you see and that you're able to, from the jump, iron all those details out. It really will just set everybody up for success. And it's super efficient because you don't have to go find another space to do it. You don't have to make a phone call. You've got the customer care team who's super tuned in and can make those appointments or add medications or whatever. It's just very, very clean. Kudos to Eileen for pointing that out. I just wanted to drive it home so that we all can participate in making this happen. Sometimes nurses come and help at the resort. Sometimes bathers help bring pets back. It's just really a communal effort. And so this is the effort that we want to put forward. I love y'all for it. I think this is going to work great. I can't wait to see us succeed. Okay, that's our update for this week. Thank you for tuning in. Congratulations again to Danielle Welch on Employee of the Month. And great job to Charlie and Eileen and to Danielle. They have been just really, really stepping forward in their leadership and department management. We are really, really lucky to work for them. Okay, y'all, have a great rest of your week. Thanks so much.